Hi guys and welcome. This is Emily Ryan with Pixie Stock, and today what I'm going to show you how to do is to take one of your art prints that you've created and drag and drop it into a frame mock-up so that it looks very realistic. So the image that I'm going to be using today is one in our Etsy store with our hippo and building blocks. It's really cute for kid prints. So I went ahead and just created a little mock-up of an idea to put into a frame for a little kid's room. So the way that we're going to do this, there's several ways that you can do this. Illustrator is a popular one for some people, but I actually prefer working in Photoshop because I am a photographer. I'm very well versed in Photoshop and I find it to be extremely easy to use. So what we're going to do is I have loaded this in here as a JPEG, and our image here is also a JPEG, and that's the way that it would download from our shop or any other stock shop that you might use. And the first thing I want to do is, you can see just from looking at this that the frame is not exactly perfectly squared off right now. It's a little bit tilted. So the first thing I want to do before I come over and drop my image into this frame mock-up is I want to go up to View, Show, and then I'm going to come over to Grid. So looking at my grid, I can see that we need to tilt this a hair. You can see right here, for example, how the grid doesn't perfectly fit in, but it does on this side. So we just want to change that a little bit. And what you'll do is you'll press Command T, which is the transform tool. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that I can see this a little easier. And I'm just going to slightly tilt my image until it looks a little bit more square. So that looks good to start. I know another way that you can do this if you don't feel as though the grid is very easy to see is you can come over to the rectangle tool, choose a fill color that you can see pretty well, and you'll just zoom in here to the inside of the mat on the frame and click and pull a square, or excuse me, a rectangle inside here to see. So I can see that this fits well in the mat up here, but down on the bottom, it does not fit quite as well. Let me shrink that up a little just to get a view. So what I do in this case is I'll take the opacity down so that I can see it a little bit better. And that actually looks pretty squared off right now. And then from there, if you wanted to use this way, what you'll do is you'll take the opacity down so that you can still see the edges of the square, and you'll select your layer that has the frame mockup, and once again just do the Command T and play with this until it looks like it's fitting flush with the rectangle that you just created. So I'll go in here and apply that transformation, grab the layer with the rectangle and delete it. So now we've got our image set up and ready to come in and drop our artwork. So the first thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to click with 2 fingers on the side of the layer. I've already gone ahead and layered from background, but you just want it to be an unlocked layer. So next what you'll do is you'll grab this image and click and pull up, and then drop it into this image, and then bring it down to where it fits somewhat within here. So the next thing that I like to do to make this look very realistic is you can see the beveled edges on the interior of this mat in the photograph, and I want to keep that look because I think that it makes it look a lot more realistic, like it's actually in the frame. So I'm going to take my layer that has our frame mock-up in it, and I'm going to pull down on the layer to create a copy of it here. And I'm going to lift that layer and bring it on top of my image that I'm putting in the frame. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the rectangular marquee tool and click on that. Zoom in. And I want to grab from the inside of where that bevel starts and bring this rectangle down so that I'm not going outside of that bevel. And just line it up to where there's a little bit of a shadow. And you can see it's not perfect right now, but we can fix that. So now that we have this marquee tool selected, you can see like the little marching ants look. We're just going to press the backspace or delete button on your keyboard. And then if you do Command D, that deselects that area that we were just working with. So next we're going to transform this image so that it fits nicely into our frame. So you'll press Command T, as in Tom, and holding the Shift key down, I'm going to drag this image slightly into the frame. And then I'm going to press my arrow button down to bring this down somewhat so that that T doesn't get lost there. And then to apply the transformation, you'll just press this check mark or you can press enter. So there you have it. It is fit into the frame. And you can see that the frame is off-white and then we've got this nice white. Now, if that's something that does bother you, if you want it to be a little bit more matching the color of the frame, what you can do is you'll go up to the image tab, go down to adjustments, and you can just mess with the brightness here a little bit just so that it's not so stark white. The contrast tool helps a lot too, so that the white isn't just so bright there. So that makes it look a little bit more realistic. It adds some shadowing there. And there you have it. Now you've got your beautiful print inside this frame mock-up without ever having to touch a camera yourself. So I hope that this tutorial was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like me to create another tutorial using the Illustrator version of doing this, please let me know in the comment section of this post. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.